Going to cross then to Berlin, talk to our correspondent Nick Spicer, who joins us from there. So Nick, France and Germany, they're the best of buddies, aren't they? What's gone wrong here?
You're right. Historically, it's called the Franco-German motor that drives Europe forward. And what you have before a European summit, for example, is a carefully choreographed agreement between the power couple of Europe. And generally, the other countries will rally around what France and Germany have decided. That didn't happen last week at the European Union summit in Brussels, when Emmanuel Macron, the French president, said that Olaf Scholz, the German Chancellor, risked isolating Germany because of its opposition to gas cap prices, a cap on gas prices in Europe. Scholz saying, I don't feel isolated. And then France surprised Germany by announcing a new pipeline deal with Portugal and Spain, when Germany had been hoping for another pipeline deal to go over the Pyrenees, which is already basically prepared. So wrong-footed there. So disagreements that never really come to the fore usually came to the fore last week. A bit of a surprise. So yeah, there's absolutely quite a lot of work to be done today when the two leaders meet in Paris.
It's a lot of work to be done then, Nick. What is Olaf Scholz hoping to actually get out of this meeting, do you think?
Well, you know, of course, I'm not in his head, but if you look at the big picture, Germany is changing. The power dynamics within the Franco-German couple are changing. The Zweitenwende, the time of change that Olaf Scholz said was coming about because of the invasion of Ukraine, means that Germany is spending much, much more on defense. 100 billion euros extra was announced on top of the 50 billion usually. It'll go up to around 80. France spends 44 billion. Germany intends to become the major military power within NATO. It is looking eastward. It is looking to the Western Balkans. It is hosting that aid and reconstruction conference for Ukraine, which you just mentioned earlier. So I think France is mindful of that. Disagreements also exist on what kind of defense future Europe will have. Germany is part of this future combat air system program with France to build a sixth-generation fighter and swarming drones. But they just purchased the American F-35s to carry potentially atomic weapons, as is required under their NATO obligations. So there's a lot, I think, for France to take into account, and a certain amount of panic, I think, in Paris, because they're used to providing the ideas while Germany provides the checks. Well, as one official here in Germany has said, Germany is basically leaving childhood and entering a sort of adolescence, becoming an adult on the international stage, capable of making its own decisions. But the bottom line is, I think both France and Germany recognize that Franco-German motor is an indispensable diplomatic tool, and that both leaders will do their best to make sure that motor keeps on running.
Nick, thanks very much. Nick Spicer, our correspondent, joining us there from Berlin.